Good morning. If you were at the kickoff of the Capitol campaign yesterday, you got a glimpse of the video, a song written by Tom Warnig to meet this moment, and our sound was kind of wonky last night, so we're going to have a chance to hear it right now.
Well, the church that I love now has a for sale sign. That building was my home, oh, such a long, long time. Driving by in my car, all the tears, they're not far. Thinking of the things I can't bear to leave behind. Like the pictures in the hall, let's take them along. Chairs against the wall, we'll take them along. Oh, the minister we call, we'll take them along. Load them up, we'll take them along. All the hugs that made my day, we'll take them along. The rugs, they can't stay, we'll take them along. All the children at their play, we'll take them along. Load them up, buckle them up, we'll take them along. Well, a building's just a roof and a bunch of walls. We were bursting at the seams. You know, that parking lot was too small. We're like a hermit crab. Oh, our digs were getting drab. We'll take what we can grab, whatever we can haul. All the plates and silverware, we'll take them along. If they don't match, we don't care, we'll take them along. All the witness that we bear, we'll take it along. Load it up, we'll take it along. Well, the will to stand and fight non-violently for what is just and right, we'll take it along. All the chalice that we light, we'll take it along. Load it up, we'll take it along. Oh, we're marching to the beat of the same drum, and we're answering the call of the same love. Though the days may be dark, we're bending the arc, and we're doing our part. We know justice will come. All the memories that we tend, we'll take them along. Values we defend, we'll take them along. All the postcards that we penned, we'll take them along. Oh, load them up, we'll take them along. What you use, believe, we'll take them along. And the wisdom that we read, take it along. No Bible do we need, but we'll take it along. Can't hurt. Load it up, we'll take it along. Oh, I do believe in our potential to grow. Oh, the world really needs all those seeds we sow. We don't know what lies ahead, but we won't give in to dread, 'cause the love that we spread like a river will flow. All the dreams for which we long, we'll take them along. 30 years going strong, we'll take it along. Oh, the guy who wrote this song, he's coming along. Load it up, we'll take it along. Load it up, we'll take it along.
Thanks to Tom, a song tailored to the moment. And now it's our chance to sing. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing along with Heather, "The Tide is Rising."
The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be.
The
task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The land is holy, and so are we. The land is holy, and so are we. The land is holy, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The storm is raging, and so are we. The storm is raging, and so are we. The storm is raging, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The world is ready, and so are we. The world is ready, and so are we. The world is ready, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be.
Thank you, Heather. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains. My name is Carol Nimick, assisting Reverend Kevin Tarsa this morning. We extend a warm welcome to you here in the sanctuary and to those joining on Zoom. It's good to be gathered as we experience transition and flux in so many parts of our lives. So we can be attentive during our time together. Let's make sure that our cell phones are turned off. And let's take a moment to greet one another, paying attention to meeting each other in whatever way is comfortable, in whatever way is making sure everyone is included. May we share warm hellos. Okay, thank you. So good to greet each other. We could do it all morning. I'd like to welcome Bob King up to read our land acknowledgement this morning.
We lived on land originally inhabited by the Nisinan tribal people. They never gave up their land. Symbolic of our efforts to acknowledge their presence here through time, though nearly erased by genocide, relocation, and exclusion from California history, we place a basket of black acorns on the altar. The acorns are a symbol of the Nisinan strong and resilient traditions. They represent sustenance, both food and medicine, and the interconnectedness and reciprocity between people and nature.
Bob, thank you. Now, not that we need any reason to wear colorful clothing, but in case you're wondering, last night we had a kickoff dinner for the Capitol campaign. We were invited to wear bright colors and rainbowy things, and it was very fun to see what people found or acquired to be brightly colored. So that's what this is about. And you may have noticed that last Sunday, some blossoms had appeared on the pear tree branch that's been hanging up here up front all this time. Blossoms that are attached, that are on the longings that people identified for themselves and hung on the tree this past fall. So people thought about their deep longings that they had, and those were the buds, and now they've started to bloom. I figured that would be the end of the branch's presence as we concluded that month of focus on embodying resilience.
We'll take it along.
We'll take it along. And then after the service, someone who was paying attention to such things came up afterwards to me and said, "I think there should be bees next." And then later some fruit, don't you think? And so, if you are sitting way up front here in the room, and if you have excellent eyesight, and if you have paid close attention, our theme for this month, you may have noticed a few symbolic bees up there this morning, crafted creatively out of wool by Carol Nimick. Just as there are these days many busily active honeybees in the pear tree blossoms just outside the building here and just outside the minister's office window, so I get to see them. I named this to celebrate the spirit of this community, the spirit of imagining something and building on what's already here, of bringing one's personal ideas and vision to the conversation, of creating and contributing and adding on, and in this particular moment in the life of this congregation, of many bees actively answering the call of the suddenly abundant blossoms, each bee collecting nectar and in the process pollen, but none for itself alone, rather for the nourishment, the future, the home building, the flourishing of all, and maybe without realizing it, pollinating at the same time a future beyond what any one of us can imagine. And so we light our chalice this morning, symbol of this Unitarian Universalist religious tradition that insists that the journey is forever unfolding and that our best bet in the long run is to journey together. Carol's lighting the lantern that will go in a moment with our young ones. But first,
there's a box here. And of course, we wonder what it could be. And I might take a peek. So, oh my goodness gracious. Paying close attention, I see here, oops, a paper heart, but of all things, a tube of toothpaste. Now, who can put these together? So, we'll have to ask the young ones. Or
what that has to do with paying attention?
Really? brushing your teeth? I'm not sure. But I'd like to have us sing the young ones on their way, please. And who's going to come to get the blanket box? Thank you. Today is the first day of a new month, and therefore, in this congregation's tradition, a fresh new theme, paying attention. With paying attention in mind, I tune into my experience at UUCM, and I feel an upswell, a wave of energy pulsating throughout. There's transition in the midst. Transition which is pregnant with opportunity as well as with challenge. Perhaps I'll just dip one toe into the water, or maybe I'll allow a full body ride on the waves. But a buzz of energy is here, reliving the colorful church dinner last night, imagining the possibilities for our new campus, preparing this building for sale while readying the new one. Along with all this, I also notice a deep resolve to strengthen our resilient community toward engagement in national and world events. Paying attention to conflict and suffering takes energy. Asking in different ways how best to tune in, stay steady and resolved to make a difference at home, within ourselves, and our community. I'm curious, where's your attention this morning, particularly here at UUCM? Tuning into your heart and head, what are you noticing? Are you feeling drawn by the collective wave, or perhaps stepping aside and allowing yourself to just feel the spray? Paying attention here and now and recognizing our togetherness, this act touches a deep well of enthusiasm, and we use it to create community. It is abundant and vibrant. May we together welcome the energy field that is stirring. It beckons our attention with love and intention. If you're present in the room or on Zoom, welcome. This first day of March, especially if it might be your first time here, greetings.
Taylor Carey offers a reflection on meeting this moment this morning. I'm fortified with a microphone for you, Taylor. One of the gifts of the new space will be the potential for wider aisles. I think of Taylor often in this regard.
I'm looking forward to the newer aisles, the wider aisles, and the bigger place. Is it on? Yeah. Okay, sorry. A couple weeks ago, Catherine explained our funny, fraught, partly hysterical route to becoming UUs as a result of mostly her, because I wasn't a member, getting thrown out of a fundamentalist church because we were living in sin. That was fun. But one of the things, when she talked about us, this is more personal, my own path to becoming a UU. My mom was a Presbyterian minister's daughter living in the Dust Bowl Midwest during the Dust Bowl era. I went to a Lutheran school for 7 years because in the Los Angeles school district, people with disabilities like me were not allowed to attend school. I don't know why. It was illegal then, but it was true. My folks could not get me in, so I had to go to Lutheran school. So I had lots of Christian background. And despite the deep familial ties and the educational ties, it never stuck. The one thing I hated most about being a Presbyterian was going to Sunday school, because I was the awkward kid, obviously. Well, I had polio when I was a baby, so I was different. Being different is great now, but it wasn't so much then. And it's hard on kids. It's hard on kids to make friends when they stand up for reasons that other than personality. By the way, it's nice to see so many faces that I haven't seen since, gosh, last night. Anyway, one of the things that struck us when we attended the UUSS, the Sacramento Church, for the first time, was that we felt at home. Both of us did. We had an independent epiphanies around the fact that we just felt like we belonged there. And it struck me that one of the things about being a UU, other than that is distinctive or distinct from meeting someone randomly, is that most of all the precursors to becoming friends are already gone. When you meet a fellow Unitarian, 90% of the getting to know them is already taken care of. So you step right into being friends because we share so much. And it's an organic thing, which prior to becoming a Unitarian Universalist was completely beyond my experience. We were friends the first day we set foot in the Sacramento Church. We are still friends with people we met right off the bat. We felt like friends the first day we spent here, the first time we checked in with I can't even remember, May Lawrence, I think, greeted us the first time. May, unfortunately, is gone, but she is one of the most endearing, delightful people you could ever meet. And she was a friend until her last moments. And I think that of so many other members of this congregation, the old congregation, there is just something about a friend who shares so much from the beginning. We learn about people's backgrounds, we learn about their individual quests, but one of the things we start off with is a deep and abiding friendship that just lasts, and it's wonderful. So I'm looking forward, as we transition to the new facility, to growing, to having more new friends, have people experience what I experienced, what Catherine and I experienced, as they enter our community for the first time and realize that they've been friends as long as they can remember. They just didn't know it yet. So that's kind of my testimonial why I love being a UU so much. It's not a badge. It's a state of mind. It's a philosophy. Oh, and speaking of philosophies, I'm wearing a resistance hat it's a token souvenir from our most recent, well, not most recent, a recent invasion of Portland. I thought that would be appropriate given we're going on to bigger and better countries to attack. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
May that be your experience too, of finding people you feel like you know at some important level as you continue to get to know the rest of them. So last night I misread a piece of the itinerary, and we didn't take time to stop and thank all those people who had worked so hard to make yesterday evening happen. So if you were one of those organizers or doers for last night's event, would you please rise in body or in spirit? Yeah. It's important to know that Shannon Dooley Miller was the overall organizer for yesterday. Thank you, Shannon. With solid teammates, yes, thank you. It was really very wonderful, thank you. And we will move from that joy. I invite you to take a breath to the fact that we're going to light a blue candle. Blue, because in Persian culture, the blue is powerfully symbolic. It's a representation of heaven, of spirituality, of protection, of tranquility. We light it, of course, to acknowledge the attack on Iran by the United States and Israel, the deaths, the losses, the family members, the grief and the waves of suffering that ripple outward from that kind of attack, and the retaliatory strikes that echo in response. Deadly violence used ostensibly in the name of peace. And with it, we mark also the suffering that preceded the attack, the repression of Iranian citizens and the brutal killing of at least 7,000 protesters in the last 2 months by the regime in power. May our compassion, which is to say our concern for the relief of suffering, break open our hearts and inspire and encourage our actions to notice, to meet, and to relieve suffering in any ways that we can, wherever we find it, in all the various worlds that each of us touches. I invite you to hold both of these, the joy of last night or whatever joy is moving in your life, and this kind of deep, earthwide sorrow. And to notice that with everything else that you hold as well, everything else that's present to you. I invite you to take a moment to breathe, to be still, and to pay attention to what is stirring in you today that's blended perhaps all together. If it will serve you, if you're in the room, I invite you to come forward, to take a stone from the table, hold it for a moment, let it mark in your body all that you're holding, and to release it into the bowl of water. Release it into the understanding that you are held by those near you, held by an energy and love far beyond. And I invite you to enter this time in the way that serves your spirit. That may be a time of prayer, to lift up your prayer. It may be a time of just stopping for a moment and being still and attentive, listening, feeling. It may be a time of being quiet and feeling the rest of the room. Curiosity about what's in others' hearts and minds this morning. I invite us to enter this time deeply and well, holding each other as we do during the gentle music and the ways that people come forward. If you're on Zoom, I invite you to enter this time thoughtfully as well, to stop whatever else you're doing, be present for a moment to you, to others, And if you so choose, to spell out in the chat some of what you hold this morning. May we be present to each other. A few stones to represent all the rest. And to celebrate a bit of delight as people coming forward glance up to look for bees in the branches. The words and the wisdom of the Reverend Peter Rabel, together. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. This is how it is. Together we are more than any one person could be. Together we can build across the generations. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Together we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice. We are ever bound in community. The song we're about to sing has words by Mark DeWolf, who was one of the very first openly gay ministers in our tradition or most others. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to sing as much of it you can take to heart. I invite us to rise and to sing together. Sing out praises for the journey, pilgrims we who carry on, searchers in the soul's deep yearnings, like our forebears in their time. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness in the endless human quest. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness. Look inside your souls, the kindling of the hearth fire pilgrims new. Find the Spirit always restless, find it in each mind and heart. Touch and hold that ancient yearning, kindling for a newfound truth. Touch and hold that ancient yearning. Stand we now upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Hearth behind us, wayside hostel, built by those who knew wild roads. Guard we ere their sacred embers, carried in our minds and hearts. Guard we ere their sacred embers. Thank you. In our weekly ritual acknowledgement of the large and many layered realities we are navigating as a nation and as a species, the active threats to democracy, for example, and human decency and goodwill, we light our candle of compassion, resistance, and resilience. It's a reminder, a marker that, yep, all of this is still here. This morning, I invite us to kindle its flame in light of the effort underway by this congregation toward living more fully into its mission to increase compassion, sustainability, and justice in the world, into its own measures of compassion, resistance, and resilience more fully by finding and purchasing and sharing a home over the next months and years, and including compassion and understanding among us for the range of hope, fear, excitement, worry, grief, and more that come with making such a significant change in times that are, for all of us, uncertain. May this move us in ways that help us together meet the larger challenges of this moment and the next, and the next. We build on foundations we did not lay. We warm ourselves by fires we did not light. We sit in the shade of trees we did not plant. We drink from wells we did not dig. We profit from persons we did not know. When I stop to notice and remember and realize, it does not take me long at all to feel very moving gratitude for the ways that I have been gifted the long-term benefits of other people's labor, courage, commitment, and investments of all kinds of life energy. It does not take long to remember that I am not self-made, and to know myself more powerfully fortunate to be the heir of many other people's love and generosity and sheer perseverance. It is an abundance that has accrued over time, beginning long before I was born. At a booth at the annual gathering of Unitarian Universalists called General Assembly, I had looked longingly at stoles like this one for many years, kind of the cream of the crop of stoles as far as I was concerned, stoles beyond my ability to afford them. The nature of stoles, in case you're wondering, historically the understanding is that they came originally from various clothing markers that mark someone's kind of role or status in society. And later they came to be also used as convenient napkins. Truly, I'm serious about that. But in our ministerial context, in this way, they're understood as representing a yoke, like the yoke over an oxen's shoulders. The understanding is that we as religious leaders remind ourselves that we have consciously bound ourselves to the actions and our actions to the highest good that we know. It's a reminder that that's what we've bound ourselves to, as well as to the good of the tradition and the communities we serve. So it's a reminder to self that we've made that decision. I bought this stole, finally, and specifically, to remember my parents, both of whom had died by then, and to remember the sacrifices they had made to raise and feed and clothe 8 children. Count them, 8 children. All 8 of whom needed many years' worth of expensive orthodontic braces. Orthopedic braces, too, for some of us to correct our pigeon-toedness as young people. Not to mention all the regular kinds of bills and dental and medical attention and oh so very much food. My parents bought grocery carts, 2 grocery carts at a time, full of just bread from the discount butternut bakery. I saw that image of those 2 full grocery carts. We canned strawberry, peach, and cherry jam in 2-quart jars. And if peanut butter had been available in 5-gallon buckets, that would have been perfect. I bought this stole, finally, with money my mother had saved and very carefully stewarded and invested over the years. Money from cleaning people's summer vacation homes. Money that came to each of us when she died. Money that helped me pay for a chunk of seminary costs. Mom, it turns out, had saved and stewarded a meaningful amount of money, enough to benefit each of her 8 children. I completed seminary with only a small amount of debt, thanks to her. That Mom and Dad were able to save anything at all feels miraculous to me. Earning as little as each of them did, cleaning homes and teaching in a very small rural Catholic grade school. And as continually generous as they were to everything and everyone around them. But for these very reasons, later in life, my mom took all kinds of workshops, subscribed to financial publications, and became something of a financial go-to in the community, advising and encouraging anyone who would listen to save, to set aside money, to do it well and wisely, to plan carefully. And much to my mom's dismay, not all of her children locked on to that advice. The awareness that we build on foundations we did not lay and warm ourselves by fires we did not light reached me again in a very moving way just recently when I saw some of the pictures of this building as it looked when a determined cluster of self-starting Unitarian Universalists purchased this building and gradually made it their own. A purchase enabled by the willingness, faith, and determination of those people, including someone who put up their own home as collateral to buy the building, as I understand it. I've asked your archivist historian, Ruth Edwards, to help me lift up more of this story of this building and to share more of the photos at the end of the month when we'll celebrate the memories of this place and grieve the losses that come with moving. But let me anticipate that Sunday with just a couple photos of this room that we are now in, if you're here in the room. This is exactly where I'm standing right now, kind of over by that window to the left there. This was the main entrance to the mortuary chapel. The congregation opened up this room and turned it around in more ways than one. Notice the pews. And this is the other end of the room where the memorial tree is now. That used to be the front of the chapel. Now, I don't know about you, but the tone of that room then does not have an aura that excites me. And in case it needs clarifying, that is not a comment about the stained glass window. It's a statement about the lackluster mortuary energy, kind of the muted feel of that room to me. Yes, chandeliers are still here. Built by people who were here before.
Yes, but will we take them with us?
Will we take them with us? Will we take them along? Some of us will be glad to leave them behind, and some of us will lament leaving them behind. There have been many other very significant changes, and I did not realize how different the building had been inside and out, and how much work had gone into transforming this building over time to help it become more of a home for this community, for the Unitarian Universalist community of the mountains. Nor did I realize how much vision people had to have to bring it to life in that way, to know that this could and would, over time, take on the spirit of the people gathered, rather than what I see as that energy. So let me jump all the way to the present briefly, to one of the recent continuations of that same visionary and generous spirit by one of UUCM's newer members. This is the garden in the back that Patricia Wolf imagined, financed, installed, and planted in what had become a rather scrappy back patio by then, filled with seeds that had been making themselves known recently. This is a photo just from yesterday. It's designed by Patricia to become a garden of flowers that will meet the eye, invite one's touch, and capture the attention of one's nose as well. What a beautiful investment. Just before, it turns out, the arising of the possibility of purchasing a new, larger, more level, more possibilitied campus, with people's expressed visions now for many kinds of gardens there. We got to hear a bunch of them yesterday. So I want to offer a huge thank you to Patricia. And I don't remember if I've seen Patricia here today yet. I told her yesterday I would be saying this. I look forward to seeing what blossoms between now and June, while the congregation's still here. But I also intend to be walking down the street and peeking over that fence afterwards to see what else is coming. There's sweet peas that are going to be growing up those edges. It's to see what's thriving. So here the congregation is, in the middle of all of that, in the midst of the ongoing journey, right? Things still arising, even as plans are being made. 30-ish years in so far, choosing to make a change that many members believe will enable UUCM to become more of what it can and what it needs to be. Even while recognizing the limits of this building and its location, we can know that we luxuriate in an abundance created by many determined and generous hearts and hands before us. And at the new campus soon, we will have a chance to sit in the shade of trees we did not plant and drink from wells, actual wells, we did not dig. One of the things that strikes me at the moment, personally, in my own experience, is the energetic similarities between this space and this space. Now, actually, the room is brighter there with the lights on, which is to say, gratitude for the imagination and vision of people who can see how this new space, too, can and will, over time, truly take on the spirit of the people gathered. We know this to be possible because this congregation has done it before. You and your presence and your imagination, including some of you here for the very first time, perhaps, in the room, on Zoom, watching this on YouTube later, all will have the chance to be part of helping that to happen for this space, including, perhaps, to echo Jeff's architect's imagination, eventually turning that new sanctuary all the way around, to create a welcoming entrance at the center of the building, a beautiful altar area toward those beautiful tall trees at the other end, and seating for an additional 50 people. A building, a piece of land, a parking lot, none of these is the congregation. And each of these can be imagined and reimagined and reimagined and stewarded over time in ways that enable this community to be ever more of what it wants and needs to be. A spiritual, emotional, and intellectual resource for its members and friends and brave new attendees, and also a deeper resource for the wider community in which this congregation finds a home. And thus, the reasons behind the Capital campaign that kicks off in earnest this weekend. It's a campaign to bring UUCM's next possibilities to life, a chance to invest at a pivotal moment in the congregation's future, to build foundations, light fires, plant trees, dig wells, actual and metaphorical, that will benefit others long beyond any of us. A chance to draw on the abundance we did not entirely self-create, no matter how hard we worked in our lives, abundance that takes many forms. This particular season calls us to generosity toward that vision in two different ways. First and foremost, and this is the priority, through our annual stewardship giving, those of us who are members and pledging friends. The money that supports the ongoing day-to-day ministry and heartbeat of our congregation, that pays the regular bills, including most significantly in terms of amount, what pays for staff. This is the starting place, and members and friends are invited to prioritize their pledge support there first for this year that begins on July 1. And this year, at this particular moment in time, there's this additional invitation to anyone who wants to be a part of it to be generous also through a capital campaign which looks to the future, to the purchase and the adaptation of that Squirrel Creek campus. Spaces, possibilities, dreams that can help UUCM's mission be carried forward. These are pledges that can be spread out over 3 years. The total amount that's pledged in the campaign will determine whether some of the imagined and desired transformations can happen sooner or will need to wait. We heard some very fun imaginings last night, including the desire for a lap pool, pony rides, as well as a kind of a sacred area outside honoring the diaspora, a meditation garden, a labyrinth, meandering paths, spaces for other organizations to meet. I shared last night that when I met with my financial advisor, and Mom would be pleased about this, I found out I would be able to give 3 times what I thought I was originally going to be able to give to the campaign, which made me very happy because for me it's an investment in this future far beyond me. I noted earlier that in the midst of the excitement and glee, those kind of waves of energy that Carol identified for us, kind of rising up in the midst of this, that not everyone feels the same happy energy, feels comfortable about the move, or thinks it's a good idea. Surging waves can be daunting to someone in those places. And this is where the second part of Peter Rabel's wisdom comes to the fore. A reminder that we don't all have to think alike, to love alike. A reminder that none of us does this alone. This is the whole point. This is something that the congregation, the community does together. We don't have to face the uncertainty or assume the risks or find the resources alone. You don't have to take out a mortgage on your own house to benefit necessarily. We give in the ways and in the measures that our abundance, our truths, our realities allow, and we do this together, yes, with each other, but also, as Rabel points out, we are doing this with those people who came before, and with the people who are just arriving, and with the people who will come after us. We don't have to have the same talents, interests, level of resources, or emotional patterns and proclivities. This is a foundational understanding in Unitarian Universalism, calling us to swim upstream against our inherent individualist tendencies. The understanding that together we are more than any one of us could be. We don't have to hold any of it up by ourselves. Together we can build across the generations. We steward the generosity of those who came before for the sake of those who will come after. The congregation owns this building outright. Abundance. Together we can renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. Yes, even now, renew our hope and faith in the life that is yet to unfold. together we can heed the call to a ministry of care and justice inside, among us, as well as outside of UUCM. We are ever bound, ever yoked in community. That's the human truth. And in our UU tradition, it's also a truth that's created by your own choosing. It's the choice to be yoked together. And so we are invited to imagine and so pool and amplify our personal abundance for the sake of a collective abundance that can enable good to unfold long past any of us. So may we be. And to that end, we will commission and bless and thank those people who will be visiting stewards. If you're going to be one of the visiting stewards who will come and meet with people, I invite you to rise in body or in spirit, if you would, please. Visiting stewards who are here at this service. Yeah. I invite you to, if your body will allow it, I invite you to stay risen, because I have some questions for you. Today, yeah. Gail, you can choose. And Taylor, are you a steward, Taylor? Feel free to rise. Taylor has this option now, which I love. So today, he slowly rose. Today we honor and commission these our visiting stewards, members of this congregation who will, thank you, thank you, thank you, go forth from and into this UU community to connect, to listen, and to carry the spirit of generosity and gratitude. They embody our shared covenant to care for one another, to listen deeply, and to nurture the well-being of this congregation. So let us recognize this ministry of stewardship as an act of courage. If you were asked to be a visiting steward and did not, maybe you can identify with that act of courage piece. Recognize this as an act of faith, itself an act of generosity, just to do this, grounded in abundance and mutual trust. So I invite us, and if you're at home as a visiting steward, I invite you to take this to heart too. Beloved visiting stewards, will you go forth in the spirit of hospitality and care, listening with open hearts, speaking with honesty and kindness, honoring each person's story as sacred? If so, I ask you to respond, we will. We will. Will you share faithfully what you know of this congregation's day-to-day ministry, its care and its promise week in and week out, and speak faithfully of what you know of the dreams that this community now seeks to bring to life through this capital campaign? We will. Will you remember that stewardship is not only about gifts of money, but also about the gifts of spirit, time, and love that sustain and strengthen this beloved community? Thank you. And members and friends of the congregation, these visiting stewards go out on our behalf to listen, to connect, and to help each of us find our place in this shared vision. So everyone else who's going to be getting a visit, members and friends, will you welcome them with your openness and trust? If so, please say, we will. We will. Will you respond to their calls, their texts, or their emails when they reach out? Will you respond to their calls, their texts, or their emails when they reach out? Will you receive them as companions in generosity? And will you respond with honesty as well as joy when they visit with you? Stewards, with the congregation's blessing, may you go forth grounded in gratitude and guided by love. May your visits deepen relationships and be filled with warmth and laughter as well as honesty. May your listening be a gift. And may this work nurture joy and abundance among us all, for the sake of this community and for the future we are building together. So may it be. Go with our blessing. Thank you.
"50% of our offering this month will support our community partner, Citizens for Choice. This nonprofit is dedicated to promoting reproductive justice and providing confidential, affordable, and accurate reproductive health care services. This morning we have Rachel McCullough-Sandin, a board member of Citizens for Choice, as well as a member of our own UUCM community, here to speak to us more about the nonprofit. Rachel.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right? Great. Okay, so good morning to everyone here in the room and on Zoom. Again, my name is Rachel McCullough-Sandin, and I'm here as a community member and also Citizens for Choice board member in partnership with the Grass Valley Clinic. About a year ago, I was sitting in the back here with my family and was given the opportunity to share in our offering for Citizens for Choice. Having grown up in a more traditional church setting, I had never been able or been given the opportunity to share my money with reproductive health and access and rights in a community setting, and that was such a privilege. As a public health professional, I was touched, and it was like all of my worlds were coming together. And then I chatted with the board members about becoming a board member and have been so delighted with serving over this year plus. Thank you for allowing us to share our mission with you again today, and for the very generous offer to share our plate this month. As shared, the mission of Nevada County Citizens for Choice is to promote reproductive justice and equitable health care through access, advocacy, and education, and compassionate, non-judgmental service. We promote and support reproductive health care for all. Nevada County Citizens for Choice, in partnership with women's health specialists, facilitate the operation of the Grass Valley Clinic, which is in the building with the old margaritas on the backside of the Tire Center. And it's the only reproductive health clinic in our county. Citizens for Choice financially supports clinic operations. 100% of your donations, so the whole 50% of the plate, go directly to the clinic to keep it low or no cost for anyone who needs the services offered. And people can show up and they will help accept or enroll into California's Family Pact, or work with your insurance, or not at all. So everyone is welcome. And together we make reproductive health care available to all people of all ages and all genders. I've had the incredible privilege of hearing some of our clients' stories. We were tabling at a community event, and a gentleman in his 30s came up to us and was like, "You guys are awesome. I'm there every 3 months getting my STI testing," which is great because sometimes we think that only women go to the clinic. We offer gender-affirming care, which is incredibly special in our community. And one of our clients shared and was teary that in transition and receiving care, our nurse practitioner asked him, not, "Are you sure, and what's going on, and tell me where you're," but what are you most excited about? And he just cried with joy. Another woman came to our table and said, 10 years ago, you saved my life. I was very worried about a lump in my breast, and I couldn't get in anywhere else. And you saw me, and you examined me, and you referred me to care with an immediacy that saved my life. Hang on, I can't read that. What does that say? Oh, this was great. There was there was another woman who came up and shared that her adult daughter was visiting from another country and was very concerned about a progressing UTI, and again, could not receive or get into care anywhere else, and came into our clinic and was able to be tested and receive meds. So together we make reproductive health care available to all people of all ages and all genders. Our outreach and advocacy efforts are focused on education and reproductive health advocacy legislation. We are part of larger efforts like the California Coalition for Reproductive Freedom. I attended the last quarterly meeting. We sign on to bills and legislation that we also view as deserving our support, and we have these different arms of services. And so our funding sources are private donations mostly, and occasional grant funding. We're also currently spearheading the effort to pull together many, about a dozen different county and other service providers in a new teen health coalition to improve systems and access for youth in our community. And I was just at that last week and co-chairing, and it's very exciting. If you are interested in getting involved, we are, again, looking for board members, especially for advocacy work, volunteer coordinating, and communications and marketing. We also have postcards and materials at the table in the lobby with Deborah, our outreach coordinator. She's amazing. So you can take materials and service cards for yourselves, for loved ones, or for your own organizations. Thank you again for being incredibly generous community that actually supports humans and our very real needs.
Thank you, Rachel. 50% of the offering supports and contributes to the working of our UUCM community and church. As the offering baskets are passed, please see the slide for other ways to give. Thank you. Thank you for giving both your generosity and caring. We dedicate these gifts to support the workings and visual realization of the vision of UUCM community and that of our community partner, Community for Choice, creating a culture of safety and personal dignity for all regarding reproductive rights. Thank you.
Carol, thank you for serving as worship associate as well as bee crafter. These are felted wool bees. Yeah. Heather, as always, I feel held by the music. Thank you very much for the music today. Thanks to Taylor for meeting the moment, and to Bob for reading our land acknowledgement, offering our land acknowledgement this morning. Andy and Cypress, who were here last night for the big event, thank you for both of you being here again bright and early this morning. Invisible most of the time, Eileen Hale, helping be a hospitality presence for the Zoom folks. Yvonne created the setting this morning. Robin helped design the banner. I love this look of the owl on the banner today. Gwen and Jean and Ellen and Corey served as greeters. Please thank them when you encounter them week to week. Jim and Laura and Teresa came early today to help set up refreshments. Gwen and various people have been working through the day. It's another great way to get involved in a simple way. And Linda and Cheryl are up with our young ones for Kids Connection, a great gift to the future of the community. If you are wanting to give to that campaign, you are welcome to do that, even if you're not otherwise particularly connected. So there's a special brochure for folks who are just wanting to find out more, who aren't members and friends of the congregation. There'll be some out by the guest name tags and out near a table out there. Or maybe see Gail here in the red, just in case they need some more information. Or Gail Johnson-Vaughn, who's out there in the pink, to find out more. A couple announcements: a postcard writing party tomorrow to get out the vote postcards. Sing in the choir on Tuesday. It picks up again on Tuesday with Ingrid for 4 Tuesdays, and then sing at the end of the month. The Humanism Discussion Group meets this week, and there's singing meditation on Thursday evening. All wonderful things, all still playing out as we do all the moving stuff. Today, after the service at 12:30, we'll do a UU 101 in the library outside this room, which is a chance to find out a little bit more about what this whole thing is about, this UU thing. You can always learn more on the website, and if you're looking to be a volunteer around any of the move capabilities, keep looking for places to sign up. Lori is here. She's got the pen with the flower that she's waving right there. You can just let her know, I'm not sure what I want to do, or can say, when it comes time to do this, I want to clean, or whatever it is. Lori's your person. And for this moment, I invite us to sing together this song that is born of the African American experience on this continent, the experience of slavery. It's a song of vision and hope, right? Come and go with me to that land. We're not there yet. That's where we're going. And these are the attributes that place is going to have. It's an imagining of what is to come. I invite us to rise in body or in spirit and to sing it with that history in mind, as well as our own moment in mind.
Come and go with
singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land. They'll be singing in that land where I'm bound. So come and go. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Mark DeWolf again. Sing out praises for the journey. Pilgrims we who carry on, searchers in the soul's deep yearnings, like our forebears in their time. We seek out the Spirit's wholeness in the endless human quest. Look inside. Your soul's the kindling of the hearth fire pilgrims knew. Find the Spirit, always restless. Find it in each mind and heart. Touch and hold that ancient yearning, kindling for a newfound truth. Stand we now, oh, very much now, upon the threshold, facing futures yet unknown. Hearth behind us, wayside hostel built by those who knew wild roads. Guard we ere their sacred embers, carried now in our minds and our hearts. I invite you to take in and hold and take with you whatever goodness you may have received from this time together. We'll extinguish the chalice, but take the rest with us and honor each other with these good words to send us on our way. Together, let us carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. We'll see you next Sunday for a very meditative service. And please join us for interaction, conversation, some refreshments down the hall, and maybe even UU 101.